Oh snap. You guys are here early, aren't ya? Guess you must have really liked my video last week about spread betting. Well, good thing is I've got more coming. Keep watching. Hi guys, it's your favourite YouTuber again, Dami Solari, and you're watching DS Learning by the Elders. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Now I mentioned that the big advantage with spread betting is the fact that you can avoid tax. Yeah, avoid tax. That's massive. I'm still trying to get over that now. But yeah, that's the big advantage with spread betting. But for those of you that are just arriving to this video and haven't seen last week's video, I suggest you hold up, wait, and basically watch last week's video before you watch this one. No cheating, yeah, you behind the back, no cheating. So I'm gonna leave a link here, like what I did there. Wow, there's some haters around. But yeah, click on this link and it will direct you to that video. Any more haters? Okay, you know what, yeah? I'm just gonna let you guys hate. It's like you don't even want me to do any more videos. Oh, so now you want to cheer me, huh? In all seriousness though, the big advantage other than tax evasion I was talking about is guaranteed stop losses. I can hear you, Jesus. I can hear you right now. Guaranteed stop losses. Yeah, it's a biggie. And for those of you that watch my channel, Die Hard fans, roll safe. But anyway, yeah, those people, they know how much I ramp on about the stop losses because they are so important. They're able to protect your profile from basically losing you money. Once you set a certain value, it's there as a trigger to automatically get you out of the trade. So you can protect your portfolio, you can protect how much money you lose or how much money you make. I've done so many talks about stop losses in general, but I also did a video about stop losses, so click on this link if you want to find out more about it. You can see that stop losses are very important, but the big sort of factor that I always talked about, which kind of sort of took away a lot from having a stop loss set, is that it works majority of the time, but that odd percent, that odd like 0.001% of the time when it doesn't work, yeah, you can lose money, guys. You can lose, and it only takes that one time for you to really have a big loss in the stock market. So stop losses, they're great, but they don't always work. Majority of the time they do, but not always. And with that said, in spread betting, you can get guaranteed stop losses that will always work. So whether there's a market crash, whether your stock has fallen dramatically, but you pick the name, you pick whatever happens, yeah, you're still gonna get that guaranteed stop loss. You're still gonna get out at that price that you set, and that is a big advantage. Oh, that's a big advantage. Granted that you have to spend more money getting a guaranteed stop loss as opposed to a normal stop loss in spread betting, you're still guaranteed it, which is a big advantage. Cool. So that's all of the pros and cons of spread betting out of the way. Now I'm going to actually talk about how it works. First though, let's talk about a stock market. So obviously a stock market allows you to invest directly in company shares. So if I wanted to buy HSBC Bank, which is a big bank in the UK, I wanted to buy some shares in that, it will cost me roughly £7.06 to buy one share, and a week down the line that share increases in 10p profit. So now I can sell that share for £7.16. And say I was a greedy bugger and I really wanted to cash off that money, yeah, so I really wanted to get my profit and my £7.06 back. So that would mean that I make a 10p profit, but this is before capital gains tax. So really and truly I'm getting majority of that 10p in profit, but not everything. That's what the stock market would do. Now comparing that to spread betting, now remember how I mentioned this last week, that spread bettings tend to have wider spreads and therefore cost you more initial money compared to entering the stock market. Well, let's say that the spread for HSBC shares was 740 points. Now notice I've said points, I haven't said pence. Don't let this throw you off guard, because even though it says points, it pretty much means it's the same currency as its counterpart in the stock market. When it actually comes to entering that bet, it's completely different from the stock market. So your broker would ask you a question: how much money do you want to commit per point? And for simplicity, let's say that the minimum amount of money that you can commit per point, that firm allows you to commit per point, is 1 pence. Bear in mind, this can be much different from what actual spread betting firms can do. Some spread betting firms can do 10 pence per point, some do £1 per point, some do £10 per point minimum. So it really varies, but for simplicity reasons, we're going to say it's 1 pence per point. Cool. So let's say that Tesco shares have now risen from 740 points to 750 points in spread bet. That would mean that we therefore make 10 pence profit. If you can notice, this is effectively the same amount of profit that you get from the stock market. You avoid that stamp duty tax and you also avoid that capital gains tax, but the hidden part is the deposit that you had to make. As opposed to the stock market where you had to pay the whole £7.06, you don't have to pay that much in the spread bet. What you actually have to pay is a portion, a certain percentage of the number of points that share is worth at that time, multiplied by the amount of money you're willing to pay per point change. Let me lay this down, okay? Remember how I said that the HSBC shares would be 740 points and I'm going to pay 1 pence per point? What that therefore means is that my deposit would have to be a portion of 740 times 1p, which would be 740 pence. And with that said, it's not the full 740, it would only be a small fraction. Spread betting firms tend to have a wide range of this, but let's say 10%, which is very common. To be honest, 5% is probably the most common. So 10% of that value, worst case scenario, would be devoted as a deposit to enter the spread bet. So this means that I only have to drop 74p to get a 10p profit. You can see the benefits now compared to the stock market where I had to actually drop £7.06 to get a 10 pence profit. On a wider scale now, if my spread bet firm told me, look, 1 pence is too small, the minimum you can actually offer is £100 per point. Now, don't get me wrong, that is very expensive, but let's just say that they said that, and my price still went from 740 points to 750 points. I would be making £1 grand in profit from a £740 deposit. Yeah. And that doesn't even include the deposit. Now, taking it even one step further, yeah, let's say that the price went from 740 to 840. I would be making 10 grand from a £740 deposit. Truly, this is why leverage in the spread bet firm attracts so many people, because of this reason. You don't have to put up a relatively big deposit to win a lot of money in spread betting. But that's one side of the fence. Let me look from the other perspective. So just from 740 pence to 730 pence, and keeping it still at that £100 per point difference, you would be £1,000 under, and that doesn't include the deposit that you've already given to them, basically. And this is how you've got to be careful when it comes to spread betting, because as much as your profits look exponentially beautiful because they're just increasing and increasing, your losses can be increasing and increasing and increasing. So you've really got to be careful. And then when you factor in that spread bet firms can borrow you money as well. So imagine they borrowed you a certain amount of money and you've invested that as well into the spread. Your losses really are unlimited, like I mentioned in my previous video. And it can come to a stage where you're so down that the spread betting firm actually chases you for money. They can legally chase you and hunt you for your money and take money away from you. And maybe that may be like the far extreme stage, but let's say you're somewhere in the middle. What they can do is that they can ask you to increase your deposit that you pay. So as opposed to paying that £740, they can ask you to put in a bit more money so that you can remain in that bet. But the thing is, that still doesn't save you from that bet. You're still £1,740 plus the amount extra now that you paid in debt. The spread's still got to go up. So you can basically be chasing your own tail if you're not careful with it. And worst case scenario, if you couldn't even pay that deposit, then they can just completely chuck you out of the trade, where you will definitely lose all of the money and more. Yeah, it's no joke. It's like I said before, people have lost their families, their houses and lives over this. So please tread with caution. And just to put it in perspective, it's not unheard of for people to be hundreds of thousands of pounds in debt just from one silly mistake in the spread bet fund. That's why when it comes to avoiding tax in the stock market, I always suggest going for ISA first. Even though it doesn't protect you against everything, it still protects you enough as opposed to spread betting. I would personally stay clear of spread betting if you're a beginner. Maybe after like 2 to 3 years, then you've got enough experience, experience to maybe look at spread betting. But if you're a new trader like myself, yeah, stay clear of that, because you don't want to be diving into that big pond and you can barely swim. Bars. I hope you guys like my video. I hope you guys finally know what spread betting is about. And if it's piqued your interest, then please just hit me up in the comment box below and we can maybe talk about it. Maybe you might know more about spread betting. I'm still new to it, so if you've got some more to tell me about, then that would be great. And don't forget to like, subscribe and share your favorite YouTuber. Hit that notification bell. DS Learning Finance. Whoa.